Mm-mm. All right, welcome to Soul Circle. March is the third Soul Circle of the year. I'm so happy that we're here. And tonight we have a nice, small, intimate group of returning members. If anyone else joins, I'm just going to let them in midway. Yeah. Well, I have a really great theme planned for tonight. I know you all, whenever you sign up for Soul Circle, I know that you don't really know what you're signing up for in terms of the theme. It's because I don't know either until something hits me. So until I get that hit, I don't really know what's in store. Read them if you have a chance. We would love to see your lovely face. That would be really wonderful. If you don't have your journal and pen yet, out, I recommend that you have that because we're going to do some journaling and some sharing tonight. Tonight's theme is going to be on believing in yourself and my take on self belief. Something that I'm integrating into my life is that you don't need to believe in yourself, it's not necessary. And I'll tell you a little bit more around that concept a little bit later. Let's do some icebreakers and then we'll follow into a meditation and then we'll go a little bit more into the theme. Hey, Rita, it's nice to see you.
Hey, nice to see you too.
Yeah. Okay, amazing. So let's go through some welcome intros. Let's say our names, where we're from, and what, and to answer the question, what do you have right now that you once wish you had? What do you have right now that you once wish you had? So, my name is Linda. I am from Toronto, Ontario, Canada. And one thing that I have now that I once wish I had was to hold a position as a personal trainer at a gym. I've been trying to get my foot in the door for the longest time. And I've tried, Good Life. I've tried the gym at the at the university near me. Um, but positions were always filled, or they wanted me to work like full time, 40 hours. And that was not something that I wanted to do. But I was able to actually find a position amidst a pandemic when people were losing jobs. And here I got hired part time as a personal trainer. And I have it now. It's come like years and years later, but it's finally here. So I've been able to manifest that. And I'm very grateful for that. And I'm hoping that this is a sign that whatever else I'm calling in, it is on its way. It's inevitable. My success is inevitable. It's just a matter of time. So I'm going to pass the ball to Anna Maria.
Hi, I'm Anna Maria. I'm from Romania. And the one thing that I wish I had, and now I have, is my bachelor degree in psychology that I finally got. And I also got a new job lately, so that's great.
That's amazing. And you recently just got this new job, is from what I hear. So I'm giving you like thumbs up and the
Thank you.
congratulations emoji. That's amazing, amazing. Let's pass the ball to Jim.
Hey, I'm Jim from Woodinville, Washington. What I have that I wish I had when I was younger, I'd have to say my pool table. So when I was a teenager, I had a friend with a pool table. His family had a pool table, and I used to go over and play pool. And ever since then, I always wanted to have a pool table. And if you've ever seen a pool table, it's big and there's need a lot of room for one. So several years ago, when I was designing our home, I actually designed part of the house around the pool table so that would make sure there was enough room. And I was able to get a pool table. I enjoy it almost every day. So
Wow. So your house is like perfect for parties then, no?
it is pretty much perfect for parties. Yeah.
That's amazing. And it's so cool that you were able to construct your own house. Like you got to design it the way that you
Yeah.
wanted it.
Yeah. I actually designed it myself. We first started looking at homes to buy, couldn't find anything we wanted. Then started looking at land, and then started looking at plan books, to see to see if we could find an interesting plan. Never found anything that was perfect. So we just started taking elements of different designs and putting them on paper, really rough at first, and talking to architects and whatnot. And then ultimately I ended up buying some home design software and just did the whole design myself, and then took it to a drafts person to turn it into something that could be built. And so every part of the house is something that my wife and I came up with and then I designed in the computer.
Do you have to be an architect to do this at all?
No, I mean, I just use common sense in a lot of ways, like stacking walls from first floor to second floor and thinking about roof lines. Because the software that I use is pretty sophisticated. So you can do a 3D walkthrough. You can actually build a physical model of the home from the tool. In fact, they have a forum and I was posting pictures of my project and they called me and said, can we feature pictures of your work on our next product box? And they did, and they sent me copies of it as I have those in the cupboard. But anyway, so I'm just one of those kind of people that I learn something new and I figure out everything I need to know to do it and I'll just do it, so.
That's amazing. That is so cool, Jim. Major congrats on that pool table. All right, and last but not least, Redum.
Not quite sure what to think. I have a few things that I'm grateful for that I didn't that I wanted in the past. Uh, Firstly is also pretty much the same thing as Anna Maria. I got a psych degree, which is the same, and also found work in the field. So that's the first thing that came to my mind. But I think the greatest thing that I'm like truly, if I be honest, the greatest thing that I'm grateful for is probably greater peace of mind in general. Yeah.
The price on that, Redum. What do you attribute that to? Like, what helped?
What helped? Oh, spirituality.
I hear you. I hear you. That's awesome. All right. All right. Let's move into a quick meditation before we move into the teaching. So I'm gonna have us close our eyes. Breath in and exhale. Just make sure you're breathing into your lower belly. And hold space for the silence in your life, the stillness in your life, the stillness living in you. The peace that is here. The simplicity of life when we take a step back and look at it from a grander perspective. The great reverence that we see in hindsight. Allow life to take you by the hand and lead you to where you may go next. And know that you're taken care of. No matter how far from your comfort zone, know that you are taken care of. And that peace of mind is available there too. And there is another way of living. There's a different way of living. There is something better. And it's available to us. And we don't need to know how or what it looks like. It will unfold. The more we open space, the more we sit in silence. So take your fears and your doubts and set them on a table. Suspend them for just a second. You are infinite potential. You don't have to try hard. That's exactly what you are. You are infinite potential. You can't help but be infinite potential. You cannot wave yourself away from it. We just forget. We forget that above the storm clouds, the sky is blue and the sun is shining. We forget. We forget because all we feel is the rain on our skin. And we forget that there is a sun behind the clouds. It has never disappeared. You can't make it go away. Our infinite inherent nature is infinite potential. It is peace. It is simplicity. It is stillness. It is well-being. You are a miracle. You are the miracle. So act like it. Feel like it. Remember that you are. Breathe this in. Exhale doubt. And slowly open your eyes. All right. Okay. So tonight's theme is on self-belief. I'm going to read a text that I got through email that really inspired today's teaching. Okay, so just sit back and receive this message. Stop trying to believe in yourself. How many times have you had someone say to you, you should believe in yourself, and found it not to be that simple to do? This is very common. This is a very common thing for people to say, and it comes with good intentions. But it is important to know that there is a right way to believe in yourself and a wrong way. To believe in the self that has to do things, put out things through effort and discipline is only going to reinforce the ego. The doer of actions, who must accomplish everything with effort because it is separate from a source of all power, is the ego. Believing in the self is not something that needs to be forced, earned, or achieved. Actually, it's impossible. To truly believe in yourself is more accurately to know yourself. When you know that what you are is one with the source of all of life, power, and intelligence, you can simply allow that self-knowledge has led you and guided you. You don't need to do anything to believe in that self because it already is. The ego wants a reason to why you're worth believing in because of some quality or some achievement. But the truth is, belief in the self is not something that needs to be acquired or done through action and effort. Self-belief is the natural byproduct of self-knowledge. As an expression of the universe, you are limitless. Therefore, it is only something that needs to be seen. Now, you might be thinking to yourself, if I am limitless, how come I don't feel like that? And the answer to that is because you don't know yourself. You are trying to believe in the not self, the limited, the false perception of yourself. I'm going to repeat that. You are trying to believe in the not self, the limited, false perception of yourself, which actually doesn't exist. It is a fictional creation of the mind. To believe in yourself is to know yourself in your truth. So if you don't believe in yourself, take that as a sign that you are knowing yourself wrongly. You are living with uninvestigated assumptions about who you are. Once these assumptions are investigated, they are quickly seen to be the illusion that covers your true self. And your true self will never ask for belief in order to express itself, because there is no reason not to believe in what you always already are. I found that to be extremely thought-provoking and powerful. And so I think the greatest takeaways are to believe is to know the truth of who you are. And you're currently believing in an illusion of who you think you are. If you don't believe in yourself, take it as a sign that you're knowing yourself wrongly, or you're believing in the illusion or assumptions about who you really are. I'd love to hear if we have any thoughts. This is a really juicy topic.
Well, I was a little bit distracted by the not self part because I've done some study of Buddhism, and there's a non-self teaching in Buddhism in meditation of recognizing. Well, it can be a little bit controversial, but recognizing that the illusion of self. So there's actually some parallels here of believing in the wrong self, if you will. But sorry, I kind of went on a little tangent in my mind about non-self and how that fits into what you're saying. But I think in general it's profound what you're saying about most people are believing in something about themselves which is not their true self.
Well, they might be pointing to the same concept. I'm wondering what you have learned in Buddhism about the not self.
Well, the Buddhism teaching really is that we have a sense of self that exists kind of independent of what's going on in our heads. So there's kind of like the observer of our mind. And so through meditation, you can kind of realize there's just kind of a way that your brain works. And so it's you have this sense of self that isn't really the true nature of the mind, but it's also a reflection of kind of non-dualism, which for people that are spiritual might be controversial as well, but it's very common in Buddhism that in not, you know, non-dualistic spirituality views kind of the body, mind, soul to be all part of kind of one package, rather than, say, a Judeo-Christian view that says the soul exists separate from the body, you know, and is an independent thing. And so when people are thinking about their own experience, they often feel like they're riding along inside your body, if you will, peering out through their eyes, but that their self is distinct. And so in Buddhism, they kind of help you realize through meditation that it's really you're all part of one system. You know, all of your nervous system, all of your body, kind of feeling into the body, which is common in meditation, is recognizing that every part of your experience, including your sense of self, is all part of the way everything is functioning together. You know, and basically getting deeper into that understanding. So I don't know if that makes it's hard to explain, but
what I got from that is that there's an observer of the self, so observer of the mind.
But it's an illusion. It's an illusion based on how your brain works.
So there is no observer of the
Not
mind.
really.
Interesting.
It feels like there is. But it's kind of like, you know, where we have two hemispheres of our brain. And if you've ever studied the split brain studies, where they, for a while, at one point, they were as a therapy for what's it called, when people have convulsions and
Epilepsy.
Epilepsy. Yeah, they actually sever the corpus, whatever that connects the two hemispheres of the brain, and it reduces the occurrence of epileptic seizures. But what they found is that those patients now had two independently operating hemispheres of the brain that had different ideas and would actually compete. Like one of them would pick up something and the other one would say, no, you can't have that. And it's really fascinating. If you go to YouTube and you search for split brain experiments, it's just really interesting. But it's an example of the fact that you really have two personalities and two independently thinking parts of your brain that work together most of the time for most people. But if they're separated, they actually start having different concepts and different opinions and different preferences. And it's fascinating.
That is
so like in the same way, you have your conscious mind and your subconscious mind. And so your subconscious mind is doing things and processing things, and that your conscious mind isn't aware, but then it will send messages to your conscious mind that come from somewhere, right? And you can give your subconscious mind instructions, and it will do work for you, and then it'll come back with an answer.
Like dream work.
Yeah, and so you have these different. Our minds are so sophisticated, even from a physical perspective, that we can't really fully understand how they work in consciousness, and it's a big mystery. But I mean, I found through meditation and this kind of observing how your mind works, you can begin to understand the nature of your own thoughts and emotions and things like that. But even the sense of observation is kind of an illusion, and you just realize it's just another part of your brain that functions a little bit separately from other parts, like a computer that has multiple processors doing parallel processing, you know. But anyway, I find it fascinating.
That is fascinating. No, thank you. Now I want to YouTube split brain studies and just watch this happen, because I think it'd be really funny. Yeah. Thank you, Jim. Anna Maria, I'd love to hear your thoughts around this theme.
Okay, well, I have a few things to add. First of all, related to what Jim said, because I also studied psychology, there are some things in the studies that have been observed, you probably heard about this already. It's like the ego, the superego, and the ID. You know, like the superego is like with the rules, like I have to do this. The ID is like with I want this now. And then there's the ego that makes a compromise between them. So yeah, it makes sense. And also sometimes as you mentioned, we think that we are limited, or we think that we're not maybe good enough, or we're not beautiful, or anything like that. But at the same time, like we might think that we're ugly, for example, but then we realize that we are basically the universe, and in the universe there's the law of polarity, which says that there's an opposite of everything. So if we believe we're ugly, technically we should also believe that we're beautiful, let's say, which sounds kind of contrary. But because the universe is limitless, you know, there's no limit, and we are part of it, and there's this idea of oneness. That's kind of why technically we don't have to become beautiful or in the way that we want, because we are already, you know, there's nothing that we are not, if it makes sense, you know, because we are like the universe is everything and we are the universe. So I don't know if it makes sense, but it's like at least good for philosophy. We like, it's not that we are not in a way, in a specific way, we just don't remember it yet. So yeah.
Awesome. Thank you, Anna Maria.
Sure.
Read them.
Yeah. So what came up for me was pretty much experientially. I've noticed like kind of letting go of limiting thoughts about myself, and as I do that, I kind of feel more at home. So it seems like that's as I let go of limiting thoughts, I feel more myself pretty much.
Mm.
Yeah. So that's how I related to that reading.
Kind of like when the cloud storms disappear, you kind of see the blue sky again.
Yeah. It's like a discovery of it's like a radical, I guess, radical truth kind of way. Like what is actually, it's like kind of like, I think one of the teachers, I think Ramana Maharshi talks about discovering, asking who I am. And that kind of gives me the same experience. It's like I do away with all the concepts that come up temporarily, and experientially I feel more and more expansive, and that seems to be more my true self.
So following the feeling of expansion for you is a good sign that you are coming back to your truth, is what I'm hearing.
Mm-hmm.
That's amazing. I feel the same way. I feel very similar. I'd like to move on. Thank you for sharing. I'd like to move on to the first journal prompt. What assumptions are you making about yourself? So you're currently believing in an illusion of who you think you are. So what illusions are you having about yourself? And then who do you think you are? And which ones are illusions? I'll type this in the chat box. So the first one is, what assumptions are you making about yourself / what illusions are you having about yourself? The other one is, who do you think you are? Underneath all that. And which aspects are just illusions? We'll start off with those two. Okay, I'll give us the next 8 minutes to journal on that. Let's go. Okay, start wrapping up. Coming back to the circle. I hope that that was insightful around some beliefs that we've been holding about ourselves, some assumptions that we might be holding about ourselves. For me, some illusions and assumptions I've been playing into is that I am what I do and I am what I look like. I am how I feel, which is very turbulent all the time. And if I feel bad, that means, oh, that must mean something. And if I look a certain way, oh, wow, that must mean something as well. But what if nothing means anything? What if this is all just an illusion? And I've been playing into the illusion. That's like an analogy I like giving is like me watching a movie and getting really immersed in the movie and thinking I'm actually the main character. And the main character is going through all of these things. So I'm feeling like, oh, I'm feeling this problem, I'm feeling this heartache. Oh my God, I have to solve this. But when I take a step back, it's like, no, 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 wait. I'm just watching the movie. I'm getting really caught up in the movie, and it's a really darn great movie. And I think for me, that's what the illusion is. And what am I truly? I am love. I am free. I came here to play and enjoy and take everything lightly. I came here to experiment. I came here to connect. I came here to hold things, priorities and routines and concepts loosely. I came here to laugh and to learn and explore. I came here to say yes. I came here to dream. I don't need a reason to believe in myself. I don't need a reason because then it would make my worth conditional and I would need to prove myself. But to prove myself is to not know myself. And I am already those things without having to prove itself. So that was my greatest takeaway. I would love to hear what came up for you.
All right, I'll go. So I wrote under assumptions, I can do anything that I set my mind to. And I do believe that. I'm often unemotional.
It sounds great. I mean, you can do anything you set your mind to. You can
Yeah, well, I mean, I have a history that shows that to be true. So, but I said I am unemotional when I should be emotional. So that's an assumption I have about myself. I have difficulty making friends. I also wrote circumstances prevent me from being fully authentic. I can hurt people inadvertently. So those are some assumptions. Illusions. One illusion is I will live a long life and always be youthful, strong, able, and smart. And my aging parents have shown me that that's not necessarily true. I have an illusion that the grass is greener elsewhere, whatever elsewhere means. So with some other decisions or options or choices that I could make, life would be better. That may or may not be true. Another illusion is that my greatest happiness is in my future and not in my present. So who do you think you are? Now, my who do you think you are does have some limiting beliefs baked into it. But I said, a being bursting with potential that isn't realized, but which is slightly out of reach. So that's how so I'd like to have more. I like your affirmation based stuff. So feel free to quiz me about it if you like.
So you broke off at the very last sentence. You said the last affirmation.
Yeah. So this wasn't really an affirmation, but it says, who do you think you are? So I said, a being bursting with potential that isn't realized, but which is slightly out of reach. So my full potential, I always feel, is a little bit beyond where I am, which I guess could be considered a little positive, something to grow into. So I have unrealized potential.
I think all of us do. Did you know apparently a shark grows to the uh, space of the fishbowl or
A
whatever it is?
shark?
Yeah, apparently a shark grows to the space of its confines. So if you placed a shark in a fishbowl, it won't grow bigger than a fishbowl. That's something.
Interesting.
Yeah. Thank you for sharing, Jim. Read them.
So I wrote down that, so assumptions about myself. I assume that I am this physical body with several limitations, and that sometimes behaves in a counterproductive and ungraceful manner. And also, I also assume that I am this mind that is sometimes confused and uncertain about things, that doesn't have access, and also that doesn't have access to happiness all the time. And about who I think I am, I pretty much wrote down that I don't know what I am, and any thoughts I have about myself feel like limitations. So
Hmm.
I don't feel the need to define myself.
Whoa, I love that. I have no thoughts about who you don't know who you are. Well, that's a really to me, it sounds like a really wonderful place to be. You're a blank canvas.
Mhm. And experientially feels like a limitation when I have a thought about myself.
It seems like you have it sounds like you have less thinking about your thinking.
Yeah, I guess what I truly desire is just that sense of freedom, and that seems to come when I don't really have any put myself in any kind of box, even if it's a positive box.
I love that. That's amazing. Were you once in a positive box? Were you once like, no, I got to put myself in a positive box. It just makes sense. Go from the negative box to the positive box.
Um, well, I fluctuate sometimes. Sometimes I have positive thoughts about myself, sometimes negative thoughts, just like pretty much everyone else. But yeah, but overall, I kind of like to not not believe those as reality, absolute reality.
Mhm.
Just passing thoughts.
Awesome. Thank you, Rita. You gave me something to think about. Anna Maria.
Okay. So what I wrote about the assumptions is that I will be limited or not capable to get what I want when I want all the time. And I also wrote that I'm pretty cool sometimes. So yeah, about who I think I am, I said just a girl, nothing special, but I want to help people and to learn and to experience life. And about which aspects are just illusions, the fact that I will first of all not be capable to get what I want because this. I mean, when I don't get something, sometimes it's just not the time, or maybe I don't need that, even if I think I do. Maybe that's not actually for my benefit. Um, about the fact that I'm not special, I thought that uh, every person is born with some talents or qualities that helps with their purpose. Um, that somehow makes them special. And I also relate to what you said about mistaking myself for the main character and sometimes forgetting that I'm just impersonating this person in life and that I'm more than this and that I don't really have to name everything or judge every situation or emotion or action that I have that I make. Um, and that potential is probably unlimited, or maybe it exists as much as we think it is. I think that's it. Oh, and also that I'm also here to experience the good stuff. That life is not really like a prison when I just have to learn and do everything in a good way, and all that. That I also have to have fun sometimes and just pause life and observe and feel and just be, you know? Yeah.
Thank you. Thank you for sharing that.
Sure.
Um, hmm. There was one part. What did it say? It's because you don't know yourself. You're trying to believe in an outside the false perception of yourself. I'm wondering if going through my, I mean, what do I say? How do I start this? The reason why, so if you don't, where is it? How come I don't feel the way? Okay. If I am limitless, how come I don't feel that? And the answer to that is because you don't know yourself. You are trying to believe in the not self. What are some things that we do every single day that kind of reinforces that we are in the not self? So for me, every day, the way that I reinforce that I'm in the not self is when I show up at my job as a personal trainer. I'm looking for like social cues and facial feedback from the clients that I'm training as them really enjoying the session, as a way of gauging, did I do a good job? Was I giving them 100%? Do they like me enough? So that's an illusion in me playing into, I guess, the not self, in knowing that, in knowing what I inherently am, which is, I think, whatever energy just shows up with me that day in the presence of this person. So that's an example of me in a behavior that kind of reinforces my not self. What are some of your behaviors?
I like to say the same ones.
The social
Looking for social cues. Yeah, it sounds very familiar.
So what social cues give you the, oh, okay, yeah, yeah, I'm doing a good job. Okay.
Oh, oh, it's exactly probably the same stuff. I think it's probably a universal thing for most people to different degrees. We're affected by um, how the social cues we get from our environment, especially at our work. I would say it's like you gauge your performance based on the feedback you get. Yeah, so yeah, I do that too. Still, like I'm still in the process of kind of understanding how much of it, like, because I also want to be the best version of myself that I can. But how could I do that without beating myself up every time I make a mistake? So that's like the balance I try to find at work,
Mm,
just kind of like an exploration.
mm,
But I've started to kind of put my peace of mind, give my peace of mind priority over, because I can't really control other people's experiences. So I can try to like, because I want to be a therapist now. So being a therapist, it's like I'm trying to fix other people's minds or something. But a lot of the times, a lot of the issues people go through are long term and you can't really fix it in one session. And sometimes might even seem that people don't make any improvements. So how do I feel about that?
mm. That I can
So
imagine.
yeah, I've kind of coming to terms to how to approach therapy in a way where I'm not, uh, I'm still enjoying the work, even though I'm not seeing improvement.
Yeah. Well, I know something common with therapists is empathy, fatigue, compassion fatigue. And at some point,
Hmm.
detach yourself from somebody else's results. And yeah, that's a huge responsibility to feel like like they need to change or like
Yeah. Like, how do I still motivate myself to really engage with the person, but at the same time not expect that something's going to work out?
Um, I wanted to say that I also related this, and like, um, for example, when someone tells me that I'm not doing a good job, I immediately believe them. And I even noticed when someone is mad at me and tells me to do something or that I didn't do something good, my first instinct is to apologize even before I even realize what they said. So I take their words as the truth before I even think about it. Even if I maybe know that I didn't actually do a bad job or something like that. And yeah, that's also kind of related to the not self, because that's not really who I am, but I quickly believe it until I realize that, wait a second, maybe it's not exactly this way. And when someone else tells me, I mean, when someone else gives me feedback, good or bad, I usually believe it and doubt myself first before doubting their words. And when I tell myself that I'm doing a good job or a bad job, sometimes I have to think about it twice to evaluate that. So yeah, it's like about expectations. It's like I expect them to be true. Like they must have a reason to say that. Maybe that's the case. Maybe I should change something. But when it comes to my own self, I think about how biased my thoughts can be, you know? But thoughts are also created when external things happen and how we perceive them and all that.
mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Sounds like the
I
most
think
does a lot of this. Yes, Jim?
it's all good. I think the thing that I do that kind of reinforces the not self is not sharing some of my inner doubts and fears, or concerns, because I don't want the other person or another person to see me as that weak person, or that I'll be interpreted as being weak or not as strong or competent, or be judged in some way. I mean, I know the reality is that it actually can interfere with genuine connection, but I hold back because I don't want the kind of a negative perception.
Okay, I have two follow-up questions, and feel free to not answer them if you don't want to. A, have you opened up to a therapist before? Did you ever want to open up to a therapist before? And B, how did your experience with Tantra help or did not help or just played no role, or if it played a role in intimacy?
Yeah. Yeah, I have talked to a therapist. And I did find it very valuable. And it did kind of lower the barriers to opening up and to feel seen and not judged. The tantric lesson's a little more complicated, because it included, on one hand, kind of ultimate acceptance, and then on the other hand, severe judgment.
Really? What?
But I don't really want to get into it right now.
Okay.
Okay.
That's really interesting. Okay. Hmm. Thank you for sharing that.
Can I
Mm,
add something? Okay. Well, I also, I mean, this reminded me that I also struggle with expressing myself. and taking up space, and that's in more than one way. It's like uh, talking sometimes about myself, or even gaining weight, or moving too much, because that's also like, taking up space and expressing myself. And I even noticed that during a conflict, I don't really move. So it's like I'm afraid to move. Even if, for example, if I argue with my mom and we're like in the same room, I avoid moving, which is weird. Like, even if I have to.
Do you feel like it's a freeze response?
Yeah. Yeah.
That's a really interesting yeah, that's a really interesting observation. I know that when I grew up, any time that we stayed at a friend's house and I was just having like way too fun, but it was getting way too late, the the later the clock ticks, the less and less sound and movement I make, because if I make a sound, it kind of almost brings them back to reality, to what time it is, and it's like, "Oh, okay, Linda, let's go. We got to go. Like your fun's over. Come on. Come on. Let's go." So, yeah, that's really interesting. Okay. Well, I'm wondering if we have any last thoughts or questions around this concept of believing in yourself and the need to, do we need to believe in ourselves to do anything?
I don't think we do. It kind of gets in the way. Because what if you want to try something new? It's like takes away the sense of adventure. It's like you have to be good at it to do it.
I was going to say something similar, but a little different angle, which is taking action. I mean, I think action is what allows us to break those illusions, and that we can do things, or we can fail and recover, or we can achieve, right? And let's break down the fear of not acting.
Also, even when I didn't believe in myself at all, I still accomplished great things, even if I didn't realize it. So, yeah.
I love that. You did things even though you didn't believe in yourself. So I feel like the concept of believing in yourself, like you don't need the belief before you get anything done. Like just do the thing, and who cares about if you believe in yourself? You might believe in yourself afterwards, and if it fails, well, you didn't lose anything. You never believed in yourself to begin with. So
Yeah.
just do the thing is what I feel like is the best thing to do. Otherwise, you're
And also, they're not that much related, because even if you do a lot of things, it doesn't mean that you will believe in yourself more. And even if you don't believe in yourself, it doesn't mean that you won't do a lot of things. So, yeah.
that's true. I love that. One does not always equate to the other. Awesome. Okay. Well, to round out tonight, I think we have a small enough group that I can do some oracle card pullings for each and every one of us. Anna Maria's smiling because she loves this. Yes. All right. So this one is called the Enchanted Map Oracle cards. I love this one. Might be a little bit dark, but it's by Colette Baron Reed. She's actually from Toronto originally. I don't know where she is now. But I love this one. It's one of my newer ones. And on the back of the deck, it says, explore your life's journey. Okay, so how am I going to do this? I'm going to keep shuffling the cards. And when I pick you, you're going to tell me to say stop. Okay, sorry, you're going to tell me to stop. And you're going to say stop. And whatever card is on top is one for you. And I guess this is my card. My card is number 35, education. Okay, I'll read that for myself later. This is what it looks like. Education. This is such a beautiful deck. They say don't judge a book by its cover, but I always will with oracle cards, just because I don't know. I would just judge it by its cover with oracle
Positive
cards.
judgments.
It's a positive judgment. It's got to bring me joy. It's got to bring me joy. All right, so Anna Maria, you're up first. Oh my god, it's hard to just Flying out. All right. You tell me when to stop.
Okay, stop.
All right. Your very first card. Deep freeze, number 26. You can write down in your journal anything that pops up into mind, whether that be a key phrase or a word or something from the photo. So, here's your message, Anna Maria. Deep freeze. Everything has its season. Now is the time to put activity on hold while you rest. The cold winter beckons you to slow down and put a freeze on things that are not yet ready to bloom. It's time for regeneration and hibernation. Forgo ambitious activity. A pregnant pause allows ideas to gestate, projects to shift and change, and relationships to go through a dreamy state of being. Not going anywhere, not needing to. This is also a time to put all your arguments on ice. Nothing beneficial will come from any of them. Self-care is the most important activity now. So reflect, read a good book, or get a massage. Rest and dream. So that's the upright message. I'll read you the reversed message, reversed as if it came out like this. I don't really count reverse messages, but I'm just going to give you the holistic reading, okay? So you can take in yin and yang. So, reversed says, nothing you can do right now will amount to anything substantial, no matter how much you try, push, manipulate, or cajole. Life wants you to take a break. You need to do this now, lest you become exhausted and forced to rest. What you need will be there for you when you emerge in the springtime. For now, winter has its own ideas for you. Wait for signs of spring. And there's your message, my friend.
Thank you. We also spoke about freezing earlier.
Well, you also told me about being sick earlier. So.
Yeah, I thought about this.
All right. Who's my next victim?
Thank you.
Jim, I'm going to pick on you. So you just tell me whenever to stop.
Stop.
Okay. Ooh, Peaks of Joy, 33. Here's your card. Peaks of Joy. Do, 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 do. Number
It's like an
30.
ink blot. I can't quite tell what that is. Still can't really tell what I'm looking at. A cloud, and is that a person on top? Or?
Yeah, somebody is jumping on top of a cloud.
Oh, okay.
I can send you an image of this later on.
All right.
Okay, yeah. All right. So, Peaks of Joy. All right, here it is. Your life is filled with happiness, so share it with others. Joy is yours today. No matter what your inquiry, you will be happy with the results. You're coming closer to a sense of achievement, and you've worked hard for it. You are surrounded by true companions and events that are synchronistically arranged to bring you to the next level of your life. The world is singing a beautiful harmony. Life is exhilarating and hopeful. Let gratitude fill your heart and remember to share your happiness. Joy is contagious. Okay?
Sounds amazing.
It is. It's a good omen. The other message is, do you rely too heavily on your material achievements when you assess how happy you are? Perhaps you say, I'll be happy when I meet the right lover / make the right amount of money / reach my ideal weight and so on. Why wait to arrive at the perfect destination before allowing yourself to experience sheer delight? This is a day for joy. Take a walk, listen to the songbirds, scratch a kitty's head, play with a dog, look at a baby, and be in awe of life, which leads to a true sense of bliss. Be alive, be grateful, and know that happiness is an inside job.
Linda, that's almost exactly what I wrote. I mean, that's a reflection of what I wrote down, isn't it?
It is.
About
That's what was going through my
like the
head.
future. My happiness is only in the future and can't be in the present.
I was thinking of that too. So amazing.
Yeah. Oh, by the way, it's hard to feel joyful today because I'm recovering from oral surgery. I don't know if you can tell that my cheeks are all puffed up.
Oh,
But-
not at all.
A little tender, but I'm working through it.
Hey.
This helps.
Oh, I'm glad. Does smiling hurt?
Not really. It's only hurts if I touch myself, but you might be able to tell. You probably can't tell that my cheeks look bigger than normal, but yeah.
Okay. Well, happy recovery. All right, Rita. Let's do this.
Stop.
All right. The one on top is Ride the Wave. It's a bunch of dolphins. I can send you a photo of it after. I know this terrible lighting. Terrible. It's okay.
Oh, I can see it.
Okay, it's a bunch of there's 3 dolphins in a wave. This is number 14. Number 14. All right. No, don't bend. All right, number 14. You can be assured that you're entering a time when you can ride the wave of abundance. The tide has turned, and you can put your surfing skills to the test. Everything that you know, all your talents coupled with your hopes and dreams will carry you forward. People and circumstances have come out of the ocean of potential and possibility to take shape in a wave of spectacular activity. Know that you're definitely on the right path. You may be mistaking a rogue wave for a fun ride. You can only coast for so long before you hit the shoreline with a smack. The tide is ebbing, and your activities are now preparing you for when that wonderful wave comes in for you to ride. You're meant to learn how to be a strong swimmer now. Don't worry, preparation ensures a successful result. However, you must wait patiently for the right moment to come. Now is the time for conscious preparation and skill building. There you go. All right.
I definitely can relate to the riding the wave part.
Tell me more.
Oh yeah, I've been, this is pretty much what I talked about. Like I ride the wave about like the concept about letting thoughts, positive and negative thoughts about myself go. It's pretty much like riding the wave. So I just ride the thought but don't hang on to it. I just kind of try to do that in all areas of my life.
I think
It's like a sense of freedom that I get when I'm able to do that.
you're in flow.
Mm-hmm.
Or the flow is in you.
Yeah. It's like, well, it's fun. Like it's like a fun way to live life, and that's the way I want to live most of the time.
Mm-hmm. Me too. All right. Well, that concludes Soul Circle March. Let's just take one deep breath in just to close the circle. So place one hand on your heart and one hand on your belly and close your eyes. Sealing this practice in. Take a deep breath in. And sigh. May you be in peace. May you be in flow. May you feel the infinite potential that you are, that lives in you, that lives through you. Slowly open the eyes and clap to break the spell. Amazing! All right, thank you so much for coming. Mwah, mwah, mwah. I think I'll be hosting Soul Circle April. If I do, it'll be on the first Saturday at 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. The reason why I say I think is because I'll be wrapping up a few things in April, because in May or June, I plan to travel. But if I have time for Soul Circle one more time, it would be amazing. It would be the 12th Soul Circle. Like, almost its 1-year anniversary. Because I think I started my very first one in May or April. I don't remember. But it'll be big. Anyway, thank you so much for coming. Thank you. Bye, Jim.
Thanks, everybody.
Bye, Anna Maria.
Thanks, Linda.